When we talk about regulating AI, the discussion is about businesses, tech platforms, governments, and you mention in your paper that we lose very often human in the loop, persons whose data is collected and life impacted. Europe started introducing in the AI Act fundamental rights impact assessment for certain high-risk AI systems, but many organizations practically struggle with implementing it. Do you see such the tools that see human a meaningful development or superficial addition to the broader context of AI Act that is not human in fact, but a dispute between businesses and different interests?
I like the looking at analyzing risk and harm. Right? So I think that's the right thing to focus on. I don't think the AI Act goes far enough. I don't think the GDPR goes far enough, which requires data protection impact assessments. And the reason is because it goes back to the definition of privacy. A assessment is only as good as the conception of privacy behind it. So a data protection impact assessment is only as good as your vision of what data protection entails. If you have an overly narrow definition, your assessment's not going to be very good. And if the law isn't rigorous about, well, what should this assessment actually look like? When should the assessment be done? And I think the GDPR doesn't require a data protection impact assessment enough. I don't think it provides enough guidance about what the assessment should look like. It's not clear there's much accountability for when you do an assessment or don't do an assessment. Who's to look and see, okay, did you do the assessment well? And if you did or didn't, how did you respond to any issues that you identified? If you don't have these things, the assessments become just a piece of paper that people do the companies do the paperwork, and they're very efficient and good at doing paperwork. So okay, we'll do an assessment, we'll do some kind of very narrow understanding of privacy or data protection, and then we'll create a piece of paper, we'll shove it in a drawer. And that's not really helping anything. That's just papering the world. And the danger is AI could be like that too, right? If the assessment for what are the issues with AI, if that assessment is not um, very good or very comprehensive, you're going to miss a lot of issues. If the categories of high risk are too narrow, you're going to miss a lot of issues. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges with AI to the structure of the AI Act. And the AI Act basically tries to say, okay, we're going to group AI into these buckets. There's high risk AI, depending on certain high risk types of AI, and then there's other AI that's not high risk. The challenge is that a lot of AI it's multi-purpose. And it's thrown out to the public, and people can use it for all sorts of different things. And that AI, the act kind of finesses it and doesn't really say that much with it. It doesn't know what to do with it because it doesn't quite work with the act's approach and structure. But that's where the ball game is. And so you need to regulate the creators of it. You need to regulate the uses of it. And AI is not, first, AI is many different things. It's not one thing. And then, the uses are many different things, and you need to regulate the different uses. Not, AI is not always inherently about one use. Uh, so I think you're going to need something. And the other issue too is there's so much a general AI Act can do. Uh, AI is going to be everywhere. It's going to be in everything. And I think that, the laws that address these different things need to all evolve to ingest AI, just like the laws needed to in every area adjust to address the internet. Uh, the same law, I think, for instance, the GDPR and other privacy laws need to evolve to better address AI. Um, the laws of car safety should uh, evolve to address AI. The laws of medical device safety should evolve to address AI. The laws of all different areas should address AI. Now, certainly there are other issues that AI is going to raise that might not be addressed by any law, so it's good to have a kind of catch-all. But we don't want to think, oh, wow, we passed this AI Act and now we're done. That's what I don't want policymakers to rest assured, like, okay, we've covered it. Uh, AI raises a lot of issues with privacy laws that show why the approaches that are taken in privacy laws just don't work. So we need a massive retrofit of privacy laws. Just like imagine, if you suddenly discover that the ground is really shaky and you're in an earthquake prone area where before you weren't, now suddenly you're going to get earthquakes all the time. You need to retrofit all those old buildings so that they don't collapse when the earthquake happens. And that's what we need to do with all our laws. We can't just, oh, we'll just build a new building and then the other ones we'll just let default. That's the problems I think we're facing. Why I think the act is it's fine, but it's far from enough. And the same law that addresses privacy is not going to address safety. It's not going to address other copyright and other concerns with privacy. Sorry, with AI.
Mhm.
AI raises concerns across the board, across all these different areas of law, and we're going to need to look at them in those areas of law. And so my argument is, let's look at privacy law. Let's take a deep look at that law. There's a lot in that law that can address AI if the law were updated, and AI is really calling this to the forefront and saying, "Hey, it's screaming, hey, it's time to fix the law."
So European lawmakers start thinking the opposite way because AI Act and GDPR face pressure from deregulation advocates. As I read, you are a great supporter of both AI Act and GDPR. So what's your perspective on current push for deregulation? Can it coexist with privacy protection?
No, I think the deregulatory push is exactly the wrong direction. And we've been through this story historically. And if we study history, we see that deregulation has never worked. The same tired arguments keep being spit out by companies that don't like being regulated. And it's the same tired arguments again and again and again. And ultimately, the fact is that companies have to be regulated, and there's no escape from that. And we look at the experience with pretty much anything else other than digital technology, and we see cars, food, workplace safety, um, all of which the story is almost very, very similar. And the story is this: before you had food safety regulation, food was dangerous. Companies would just put whatever they wanted into the food, be it arsenic or other poisons, lead. Um, Nothing was as you thought it would be. So you buy spice, it's really like ground up insects or sawdust. Incident that happened with milk was milk wasn't safe. So you buy milk and you could die from your milk. Uh, they would put formaldehyde in milk to sweeten it when it got rancid. So they would pass off rancid milk as fresh by mixing the formaldehyde in it. And babies would die. People are like, why are all the babies dying? Well, maybe because putting formaldehyde in your milk, and shown that was what was killing them. And the industry says, hey, we know what we're doing. Everything is safe. It's all great. Don't regulate us. You'll ruin it. You'll kill us. We'll go out of business. You'll have no food. You'll starve. Oh my gosh, the sky will fall. And now we regulate it. We know we can go to the store and buy milk and it's going to be safe. And I don't have to become an expert on milk. I don't have to research farms. I don't have to learn about milk production. It's not something I need to know, but I know that, hey, someone, has figured this out and determined that, hey, maybe, pasteurization is a good thing and that milk should be safe and that make sure that the farms are actually doing what they should be doing. Um, And then people aren't mixing in things like formaldehyde into my milk. And the same goes with car safety. Cars were not very safe. And the car industry said, oh, you'll kill innovation. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you're going to ruin us. Oh, we're going to die. Oh, the cars are going to disappear. If people don't want safety. Consumers don't want safe cars. They'll never buy a safe car. In fact, there's one car manufacturer that was making safe cars and advertising the program to see would people actually, is this something the market would support? In fact, it did. People were like, oh my gosh, I really want the safer car. And the car manufacturers all got together and they said, yikes, that ruins the narrative we're trying to tell. Let's kill it. So they killed it. Eventually, regulation said, no, you're going to have seatbelts, you're going to have airbags, you're going to have safety standards in cars. And guess what? Cars are safe. The car manufacturers aren't out of business. When regulation says, hey, get better fuel mileage in cars, guess what? They can do it. So I kind of feel like these companies are like children, throwing a tantrum in their room. I can't do it. And it's ridiculous. Yes, they can. They can do it, and the law needs to tell them this is what you're going to do, because people can't be experts in this, and they shouldn't be experts in this.
Mhm.
The law needs to tell them, okay, here are the goals, and you can do it. And the companies they can innovate there. A seatbelt's just as innovative as a gas pedal. You can create technology that is privacy protective, AI that is safe and responsible, and you can innovate that way. But you need the regulation to tell the companies that's what you need to innovate. Otherwise, you get an ethos that the digital technology industry has, which is, oh, just move fast and break things. Let's be totally irresponsible. Who cares if we completely destroy society? We'll just make a lot of money, and we don't have to worry about anything. The only thing we want to do is just roll it out really, really, really fast. I think that's why we need the law, because these companies, they're not evil. They're doing exactly what they're incentivized to do.
Mhm.
And so the law is saying, yeah, you win that way. That's how you win. You don't have to be responsible. There's no reward for being responsible. Just go and do what you do, make a lot of money, and we've set you up as a money making machine. We companies are sharks. They're designed to make money. They're designed to do one thing. You can't ask a shark to be a vegetarian. Um, you got to force the issue. And that's why I think deregulation is totally the wrong thing. It's never worked, never has worked. In the early days of the internet, the company said, oh, don't regulate us. Oh my gosh, the internet should be free. There should be no regulation. It's all going to be great. The internet's going to bring about this world of everything's going to be cotton candy and the world's going to be wonderful and just let us do whatever we want. And we got this kind of techno libertarianism. Look where it's led us. Is it wonderful? I mean, there's some good things, but there's some really bad things too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think let's not make the mistakes of history again and again and again. Fall for it every time. Which unfortunately it seems like we're taking that turn again,
Mhm.
which I think is unfortunate because we know better. We know it doesn't work. We know it's bull s and you know they keep putting it. They keep making that argument. So I'm hoping that we can move past it and have good, meaningful regulation. It will not kill innovation. It will help steer innovation to better, safer technology.
I think these are one of the most relevant words in this podcast. So I hope lawmakers and regulators hear them and listen to them, because I fully agree that we need regulation in this field. So finally, is there any message you would like to share with our audience, which are privacy professionals, lawyers, and business leaders who are trying to navigate this increasingly complex privacy landscape?
Yeah, I think it's very important that everybody become aware of the issues and really understand privacy issues and AI issues. I think that they don't need to become experts in it, but they at least have to understand what's going on enough to know that this is important, that they need to hold policymakers' feet to the fire to do something about it. They need to press their policymakers to respond to this and to do it in a meaningful way, because what we're seeing are laws that are passed that are often not very helpful. I think the GDPR is a great law. It could be improved, so I definitely think it's not the final word. In the US, a lot of states are passing laws. Unfortunately, some of those laws are not very good. And I think we need a course correction where those laws improve. I think policymakers need to know that this kind of old approach of just putting the onus on individuals, it just does not work, that we need a different approach. I think especially now in today's time, I think policymakers need a kind of encouragement or steering them away from the deregulatory, backlash or push that's been going on. It's kind of like a cynical move by those that don't want accountability to try to, use this moment in history to try to push back on it. And it might be that the policymaker resolve starts to weaken, where they start to question, maybe there is something to the deregulation. If we regulate, we're going to stifle innovation, and no one will invent AI here, and we'll be left out of technology. It's all because of the regulation. And I want them to realize, no, it's not. It's not at all. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to intimidate you. The reason why, the EU has, the largest tech companies are not in the EU, I think really has nothing to do with the GDPR at all. It has to do with a lot of other factors that dealing with investment and venture money and bankruptcy laws and other things like that make it very, very hard to address these issues. There's great work by a professor Anu Bradford, a professor at Columbia University Law School, on some of the reasons why it's hard to build up a tech company in the EU. It's harder, I would say. So hopefully those factors will be eased. But if the thought is you just take away the GDPR, you take away the regulation, or you weaken it, that suddenly all these tech companies are going to sprout up out of the ground is not. It's just a myth, and it's a lie. In the United States, the tech companies come from California, which is the most privacy protective state in the country. Rule were there, they would go to a state that had hardly any regulation. And ultimately, it's not about the regulation. You had companies that would whine, "Oh my gosh, the GDPR!" when the GDPR was coming out. Oh, they'd throw a tantrum. "Oh my gosh, GDPR! We can't do business in Europe." Well, guess what? They're doing business in Europe. They after having the tantrum and say, "Oh, we can't do it," then they suddenly realize actually we can do it. It's not impossible. It's actually very doable, and they. They're stopping the tantrum, and that's one thing that also historically it's interesting too, that industry strongly opposed a lot of the protections of privacy that are in the GDPR, that are in various privacy laws today, including laws in the United States. Industry used to say, "Oh my gosh, there's no way that this could possibly be done. We can't have a right to delete. That's outrageous." All these things in the law, they would say, "Oh, just impossible." And now they do it. And it's interesting. They're not even controversial anymore. They're in every law and they're not even debated. It's like, okay, we can do it. And so I keep liking it to a tantrum because that's what I think it is. It's a tantrum. It's just a reactive measure, a reflexive reaction, because just like a cat doesn't like water, companies don't like regulation. They just don't. Even when it's in their best interest, they resist it. And but they need to have it. It will not kill innovation. And I just want to leave the message to policymakers, don't fall for it. Don't buy it. Stay strong, regulate, and go in the direction of more regulation. But just regulate smarter. Make sure that the regulation is going to give you the benefits that we really want. Like, don't just regulate, just do stuff for the sake of doing stuff. Make it meaningful. And there's a lot of literature out there about what works and doesn't work. And I've written some of it, but there are a lot of other scholars that have written it. There's a lot out there that I think is very helpful to guide the way.
Oh, thank you for this powerful call to action. Your message not only guides privacy professionals, but also underscores the broader societal importance of informed engagement with these complex issues. So to everyone listening today, I strongly encourage once again to read Professor Solove's newest book on privacy and technology and explore his recent article, Artificial Intelligence and Privacy. Both provide crucial insights and guidance on navigating privacy complexities in our digital and AI-driven age. You can find links to both the book and the paper in the description of this episode and in my social media posts. And Daniel, thank you again for sharing your invaluable perspectives here.
Thanks for having me.
And to our audience, please subscribe to Monday Bagel, leave your comments, discuss this episode, discuss other episodes, share these important discussions with colleagues and friends, and until next Monday, see you.